Hello to all of you wonderful moms out there. Have you ever found yourself staring in the mirror, wondering where that vibrant, ambitious woman went? Well, don't worry, there is nothing wrong with you. This can happen to the best of us. As we start to figure out our role as mothers and we start to shine in new ways, it can also be the case that, motherhood has somehow dimmed some of our inner light. It's as if now we're just a shell of the person that we used to be. If you're nodding along and realizing that you're constantly putting your dreams on hold, I want you to know something important. This isn't how your story has to continue. This isn't how motherhood has to be for you. Welcome to episode 76 of Achieve Your Ambitious Mom Life. I'm your host, Anokhi, and today we're talking about something that resonates deeply with me and so many women that I coach. How to stop playing small and to start going for it. Yes, your dreams, your big ideas, your big audacious goals. When you're in reactive mode, life just happens to you, right? Your calendar fills up with everyone else's priorities. Your energy depletes with every yes that really should have been a no. And that vision of you, the one with dreams and ambitions and a vision beyond the day-to-day, it feels increasingly distant. Now, I know that is not how we envisioned our motherhood would be back when we were eagerly awaiting for this time in our lives. But I'm here to tell you that with the right framework, you can move from that place of constantly reacting to actually creating the life that you want. You can do things for yourself, prioritize your dreams, all without being any less of a mom than you waited and worked so hard to become. Today, I'm going to walk you through my first step framework that has helped other moms just like you move from the dreaming to the doing. So if you're ready to stop playing small and start reclaiming your power as CEO of your life, add my show to your planner and to your playlist, and let's begin. Are you looking for a way to blend success and motherhood without losing sight of who you are? I get it. I've been there too. Hi, I'm Anokhi, a PhD researcher, business owner, and homeschooling mom of 2 boys. As your life coach, I help moms like you create a life you love at home and at work. If you're ready to stop feeling overwhelmed, overscheduled, and overlooked, and want a clear roadmap to a balanced life, a meaningful career, and finally feeling like yourself again while being the awesome mama that you are, you're in the right place. In this journey to create the life you truly desire, it's time to rediscover your dreams and achieve your ambitious mom life. Before I share this framework with you, I want to tell you about back when I was drowning in everyone else's needs. As a mom of 2 with a scientific research background, I'd been phasing out of the traditional workforce for about a year at this point. But I desperately wanted to start something of my own. And I talked to my husband frequently about it. I wanted to do something that used my expertise in critical thinking, that afforded me the freedom to be with my family when and for however long I wanted, and that also put me in a position to really make a difference in people's lives. But every time I tried to work on my ideas, something would come up. A work project, a sick child, my husband would be traveling, and I'd have to really hold the fort down at home. And so my dreams would keep getting pushed to the back burner. And that would happen again and again. I felt like I was killing myself for everyone else's benefit, and it was coming at the expense of my own self. I was helping other companies hit their product goals while neglecting my own professional development. I was saving my time to take my kids to all of their activities, but I was dropping all of my activities off of my list. When I could feel myself slipping, my independence, my ideas, my control, I knew I had to do something to quote unquote fix it. I had big ideas, yes, but no real plan for making them happen. But I had my first breakthrough really when I asked myself some simple questions. And one of those questions was, if my life was a company and I was the CEO, what decision would I make right now? That shift in perspective was kind of the catalyst for everything that followed. And so that's the framework that I'm going to be sharing in this episode. Okay, so let's dive into the first step framework that can really help you start playing big in your life. This is a 5-part approach, and it's kind of building progressively, with each step setting you up for success in the next step. So the first step is to think big with curiosity. And I mean curiosity on multiple levels. So first, I want you to get curious about your own life. You can go on a journey of self-discovery. This is how you can reconnect with your authentic self. I actually ask my clients that question, about being the CEO of their life. And the interesting thing is that it always catches them off guard. I think it's because they're so used to thinking of themselves as a supportive character in everyone else's story because they're managing their families and not really focused on themselves anymore. The idea of being an executive decision maker in their own life almost feels radical. It's amazing how many moms tell me, well, I can't remember who I was before I had kids. And so when we go through this exercise, it's not that I'm asking you to go backwards and become a person you used to be. You have fundamentally changed once you become a mom. What we're shooting for is to get a combination of that accomplished part of you that you were so well connected with before you had kids, and to combine it with this amazing mom that you are today. And so the first step in reclaiming your agency is simply getting curious about yourself again, not just as a mom, but as a complete person with unique interests and talents and desires. This step directly addresses you feeling disconnected from that prior self of yours. And so it's really about creating the space to ask yourself, what lights me up? What am I naturally good at? What matters to me beyond my role as a caregiver or a chauffeur or whatever it is that you find yourself spending your day doing? The power of curiosity is that it doesn't require massive life changes. It just requires attention. And you can practice curiosity in small moments throughout your day. I want you to notice when you feel most energized and engaged. Pay attention to what you're drawn to and want to learn more about. Observe which activities make time seem to fly by. And also listen to that quiet voice that says, I wish I could, and then just fill in that prompt. I want you to think big. Also, when I talk about curiosity, I want you to be curious about the people and world around you. So start to ideate, make observations, see patterns, notice gaps, find the sparks of wonder around you. What questions come up repeatedly in conversations with other people? You can start engaging in what-if thinking, right? Start to challenge assumptions. When something happens or somebody says something, ask yourself, says who? Why? What makes this true? Those kinds of things are going to help you to start being curious and to start thinking really big. If you want to take time for yourself and your goals, then curiosity is the essential first step because you can't prioritize what you haven't identified yet. So the second step is to dream big with a vision. Now that you've reconnected with your authentic self through curiosity, it's time to envision what you truly want. Not what's practical or expected or even easily achievable, but what would genuinely fulfill you. I don't want you to get intimidated by how hard you think it might be. This step is especially powerful if you find yourself at a crossroads and you have to choose whether you want to play it safe or go for what you really want. Now, vision work gives you the permission to imagine beyond the current limitations. That's what I mean by dream big. When you create your vision, I want you to temporarily suspend all of those buts and hows that seem to crop up. Don't worry about how you're going to get there yet. I just want you to be crystal clear on where there is for you. This is how you're going to design your ideal life without any constraints. I know that you have a desire to create a life where you can be everything you need to be for your kids, your career, for yourself. I know that because I was there too. That's what I wanted. And so you can do this by first defining what that integrated life looks like, very specifically for you, not in general terms. Like actually sit down and think about, would you be working certain hours? What kind of connection do you want to have with your children? Articulate specific ways that can happen. How would you care for your own well-being? What are the specific steps you're going to take care of yourself? As you grow and your circumstances changes, your vision might shift too, but usually at major life transitions. So it's not necessarily a one and done, but building your vision as part of your life plan is something that is kind of the foundation. And it's going to be something that you will work towards over the course of years. So if you're feeling a spark of recognition as I describe this framework and you're thinking, yes, this is exactly what I need, then I want to invite you to take the next step with me. I actually offer a free 30-minute exploratory coaching call where we discuss your specific situation and determine if my approach could help you move from being in this reactive position you might find yourself to being more proactive in planning your life. When you work with me one-on-one, we start with curiosity through my guided self-discovery assessment. And then we go into designing your ideal life by building out your life plan. So essentially, it's this episode with the benefit of me personally guiding you through each step. In this way, you can be guaranteed that your dreams don't just stay dreams. They actually move into the land of reality. If you're ready to stop playing small and to start creating the life that you truly desire, visit my website, solveformom.com, or you can go to the show notes and schedule a free exploratory call today. Now, the moms who get the most from these calls come prepared to dive deep and get honest about what's really holding them back. And if that's you, I'd really be honored to connect with you. The third step of this framework is strategy. You need to create systems that are going to support big success. And this is where we bridge the gap between dreaming and doing. Strategy is about creating the conditions so that you can make your vision possible. So at this stage, we are going to establish better boundaries and a sustainable daily rhythm. Strategy is also where we address the practical aspects of how your life is going to be structured. So let's get specific now. Strategy is going to include things like time blocking your calendar to protect space for your priorities. You want to create systems that automate or simplify necessary tasks. You're going to establish boundaries around your time and energy, and then identify resources that are going to support all the things that you need to execute on your vision. And part of strategy is also anticipating any obstacles and then making plans to work around those obstacles. So the best strategy is one that you'll actually implement. While it's nice to set high standards, and that comes naturally to us as high achievers, you want it to also be realistic so that it's not impossible to execute on. And another feature is that you need it to be flexible enough to adapt to the unpredictable nature of your family life. So if you were an explorer, life planning along with good strategy puts you in the role as the map maker, the navigator, and the driver of your life, all rolled into one. Since this episode is about playing big, steps 1, 2, and 3 have all been just that. Think big, dream big, plan big. But now I want to change my tune a bit to doing small, at first at least. See, you're not going to be able to make big impact if you don't keep doing. And the way to make it sustainable is to start with small actions. The most beautiful vision and robust strategy means nothing without action, right? So if you tend to experience self-doubt about executing big plans, or maybe it's imposter syndrome that you experience and you feel like a fraud, or perhaps it's perfectionism and you don't really want to do it at all if you can't actually get it right. Or sometimes we're paralyzed by too many options and decisions. Well, the antidote to all of this paralysis is taking tiny action. Steps so small that they're almost impossible not to take. But really, they do add up over time. I want you to remember this, that in order for you to sustainably move forward, you're going to have to start small. And then over time, and with the right strategies, you're going to be able to build big momentum and impact. So here's an example, right? Instead of saying, hey, my action is to start a business. Well, that sounds overwhelming and intimidating. You could have a tiny action that might be register a domain name. Well, that sounds easy. That's just a couple clicks of my mouse. Or maybe it's have one conversation with someone in my target market, right? Do a little bit of market research. Probably you have a friend in your network that actually qualifies as your target audience. Well, that doesn't sound intimidating. When you focus on just one next small step, you can bypass all of the overwhelm that's associated with the big thing that you're trying to achieve. However, starting small and taking consistent action and then growing systematically is also the solution for us high-achieving women who tend to be workaholics, and we tend to keep pushing to do more and not stopping to really see if we're moving in the right direction or making progress. I think this is actually where many ambitious moms get stuck. It's just part of our ambitious nature. We can be a bit extreme in our method. And so taking small steps actually stops us from getting ahead of ourselves and ensures that we're on a path that we're actually going to stick with. So I think tiny actions work because they help us build confidence through quick wins. They create momentum that makes all the rest of our actions easier, right? It's like the snowball effect. And they also fit into the margins of our busy mom lives, right? Taking a small action that might be 5 to 15 minutes is much easier to squeeze into our day than to say, hey, I need a chunk of time to really gain traction on setting up my business, for example. And small actions gradually shift your identity from someone who wants to do something to someone who's actually doing something, right? Because before you know it, you look back, all those small actions add up, and you realize that you've actually made progress, and that progress is in the right direction. So for those of us who want to be able to blend success and motherhood, tiny actions are going to allow you to make progress without requiring this dramatic change in your family's routine. And the fifth step is, of course, accountability. I want you to leverage your network of friends and family and people that you know, maybe professionally or personally. Start to commit to them. So you're not just committing to yourself, but to other people as well. It's really interesting. If you want to trust yourself more, then external accountability actually builds internal trust because it's going to help you follow through consistently on your own promises to yourself. And if you actually have a copy of my personal code of conduct, you're going to see exactly why that's the case. Effective accountability can take many forms. You can be accountable to yourself, and that's what my free personal code of conduct template actually helps you do. And if you want to start there, then just go to my show notes and you can download a free template. You can also be accountable by having weekly check-ins with a friend or even a life coach like me. You can join a mastermind group of like-minded moms or other people who are trying to achieve similar things as you. Maybe you can have a public declaration of your intentions, right? I remember my husband and I exchanged marriage vows at our wedding. And so that was because we wanted all of our friends and family that had gathered around us to know exactly what we were committing to each other. You could also schedule progress reviews with yourself. I actually do that on many different levels. I have little tiny habits that I track weekly and then more deeply on a monthly and quarterly basis. I find that the best accountability structures have both support and a bit of challenge. So you want to have people in your accountability network that are going to cheer you on and encourage you. But then you also want to have people that are going to ask tough questions when you're not following through. They're going to hold you accountable. And I also like to surround myself with people that inspire me. These are people who also think big or who share values with me. Maybe they exhibit the virtues that I aspire to have or who are already doing the things that I am trying to do. So if you're trying to prioritize your dreams alongside your family responsibilities, then accountability really ensures that your personal goals aren't going to always take the back seat when life gets really busy. You're going to have a backup and accountability put into motion. So now I want to circle back to where we started. So many moms come to me because they feel so lost in motherhood. They're stuck in this endless cycle of trying to do a lot of things, but they're not really working on their own dreams. Those dreams seem to be gathering a lot of dust. But I've seen time and again how when you shift from a reactive stance into proactively planning your life, then you can transform not just what you do, but how you feel about yourself. When you reclaim your role as, say, the CEO of your life, then even in the smallest ways at first, everything starts to change because the action leads to positive feelings, and then those positive feelings get you excited, and then you start taking more action. And so there's this positive feedback loop that really propels things. And that is why my first step framework that I've shared today works. That involves curiosity, vision, strategy, tiny action, and accountability. And all of those things aren't just about achieving your external goals, though it certainly helps with all of that. It's also about reconnecting with your power to shape your life intentionally so that your days, your weeks, and basically your whole life starts to feel like all those moving parts are working together synergistically. So remember that trapped feeling I described about myself earlier? Well, now I'm building a business on my terms while I'm being more present than ever with my family. That transformation is available to you too. It doesn't just happen overnight, and it doesn't happen without intention. That's why life planning is so important in this process. But it does happen. It happens when you think big, dream big, plan big, and you take small actions to have big impact. And so now I want to challenge you. I want you to take just one idea from today's episode and then put it into action this week. Maybe it's one curious question or one clear vision. Maybe it's one strategic plan that you try to develop, or even one tiny action that you're going to take. Or find one accountability partner who can check in with you from time to time. Start small, be consistent, and then watch how that single shift begins to create ripples throughout your life. So until next time, this is Anokhi reminding you that you don't have to choose between being an amazing mom and pursuing your own dreams. What I'm doing and my story, that's not exceptional. It's what's possible when you stop playing small and achieve your ambitious mom life. I hope today's episode will help you create time and freedom to pursue something you love to do. If you enjoy this show, please subscribe and tell other purpose-driven mamas about it. Who knows? You might even make a new friend by sharing a tip. It's all free. By the way, it would be amazing to hear what you think about the show when you leave a review on Apple Podcasts. After all, my passion is to make this a great experience for you. I'll see you next week for another episode of Achieve Your Ambitious Mom Life with Anokhi Kapasi.